Jurgen Klopp was humble in defeat, perhaps knowing the stage was a bit bigger than his usual biting quips, though let's face it, they would have been beautiful on Tuesday. Liverpool beat Man City 2-1 on the day and 5-1 over two legs to earn a trip to the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. More. Recap. 5 things. Pep reacts. That statement would have seemed far-fetched a couple of months ago, and the scoreline is an eye-rubber even after witnessing the tie. Did Klopp salute his team for gorgeous football or the way the game is supposed to look? Not this time, perhaps to his credit, even lauding rival boss Pep Guardiola for the chances he took in formation and personnel. From the BBC, Pep Guardiola, took all the risks and it was his decision and it could have been the absolute right one. It's easy to say afterwards. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals in the first half, but it was 100% clear that if we win the ball we'd have an opportunity. The last situation in the first half was how you do the counter-attack, and that's how we scored the 2 goals. It's not about perfection, it's about the result, the character, the mentality, really fighting for the result. We defended well. It's not our best game, but we deserved it at the end. Fine margins. Liverpool was scrappy and unquestionably deserved their win, but Man City's finishing was off in both contests. The Reds advanced having been out-attempted 31-14, converting 5 times against one of the best defenses in the world this season. Klopp. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Like Liverpool, as Roma's domestic season hasn't gone according to plan. In a battle for third, not first, Liverpool is not in the running for an elusive Scudetto. Like Liverpool, they don't care much about that right now. Recap. Roma 3-0, 4-4 AGG. Barcelona. As Roma has reached its first UEFA Champions League semi-final, and has done it in stunning fashion by defeating a Barcelona team which is unbeaten in league play and has lost a single match, a Jan. 17 Copa del Rey first leg, since La Liga's slate started August 20, and that defeat was a 3-0 home romp which overturned a 4-1 away deficit. Edin Dzeko scored the away goal, one which looked like a mere door prize at the time, and also scored Tuesday as Roma rallied for glory. He was asked if the best was yet to come. The best came tonight, but it could come again in a few weeks' time. We can beat anyone playing the way we did tonight. We could have scored more too. We got at them right from the off. I've never seen Barcelona struggle like that before. Dzeko told PST before the season that he'd love to meet old club Man City in the Champions League. We're sure he didn't expect to outlast them. Manager Eusebio Di Francesco is relishing the win, a second time he's split results against Ernesto Valverde in his career dating back to last season's Europa League group stage split between Sassuolo and Athletic Bilbao. You must always aim higher, but we'd produced some great performances in the league too. We're reaping the rewards for all the hard work we've put in. I'm the coach, so I'll take the praise just as I take the criticism, but I want to look forward. Why shouldn't we believe we can reach the final? That has to be our target. I don't want to stop here. Who should Roma want to draw in the next round, assuming Bayern Munich and Real Madrid hold on to their leads over Sevilla and Juventus? The easy answer is Liverpool, but one thing's for sure, when you control Barcelona in the second leg after deserving better in the first, no one's going to take you for granted. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. Buenos Aires, Argentina. AP. Argentina, Paraguay and Uruguay have agreed on 12 cities where they want to host the Centenary World Cup in 2030. The Argentine Football Association said on Monday the plan would grant 8 cities to Argentina and 2 each for Paraguay and Uruguay. The names of the cities were not disclosed. More. Man City Liverpool recap. 5 things. Pep reacts. Bidding is not due to open for another 4 years, but leaders of all 3 national bodies say they want to make a joint bid. The South American nations are expected to face tough competition for the hosting rights of a tournament that will likely feature 48 teams. Uruguay staged the first World Cup in 1930 and has long been expected to seek hosting rights with Argentina. Paraguay later joined the initiative. Argentine soccer officials said they met with national captain Lionel Messi during a recent trip to Spain. At all times we found Messi willing to help us spread the word about the possibility that the 3 countries organize the World Cup, Argentina's sports secretary Carlos McAllister said. It's very important for us to feel that we have the support of players and that it is completely unattached from any political connotation. Messi and Uruguayan striker Luis Suarez have already publicly backed the plan. During a recent Argentina-Spain friendly, Messi was expected to wear a bracelet that read 2030 together, but he was sidelined due to an injury. The bracelet was worn instead by Javier Mascherano. So far, the co-organizers have not said how much the tournament would cost if they were to win the bid. Today, we can't say what the final costs will be to each of our countries, but it cannot be measured only in the building of infrastructure. Uruguay Sports Secretary Fernando Caceres said, "There's an intangible measure, which is how much a country earns in coexistence, in integration, identity, and the construction of citizenship by hosting an event of this magnitude." Pep Guardiola was sent to the stands after a dominant first half that could have seen Manchester City up 2-0 or more. The more is subjective, but the would-be second goal was called back before it hit the scoreboard when controversial referee Antonio Mateo blew his whistle. More, match recap, 5 things. Guardiola had already been critical of Felix Brich's job as HR in the first leg, and it's safe to say he's not a fan of Lajose's from their time together in Spain. Pep Guardiola less than impressed with the officiating v Liverpool. Among his complaints, Leroy Sané's goal in second leg being disallowed. What did he say to him? From the BBC, "I said it was a goal when the ball was passed to Leroy Sané. That's why he sent me off. It would have been different to go in 2-0. It's different when Salah's goal at Anfield is offside. It's different when Gabriel Jesus' goal at Anfield is offside. In this competition the teams are so equal and the influence of refereeing decisions is so important. We'll go again next season. Big congratulations to Liverpool, hopefully they can represent England well in the semi-final." Salah's offside, just past the halfway line on the opening goal of the first leg was razor thin if off, but Jesus' goal surely seemed the wrongful denial. The Sané goal looked onside today, but Guardiola is correct that City didn't finish well enough to reverse an awful first leg which was most crucially lacking an own goal. Follow at Nicolas Mendola. What an awful week for Manchester City. What a marvellous moment for Liverpool. More, match recap, Roma stuns Barca, job done. It feels a tad insane to call a 4-goal margin of victory over 2 legs scrappy, but there was nothing simple nor easy about Liverpool's stunning and complete defeat of the Premier League leaders Manchester City. Jurgen Klopp's men were lethal against Pep Guardiola's bunch. If you were given the following stat lines before the tie, would you think it ends Liverpool 5-1? Game 1, Man City 11-9 in shot attempts, 66% possession, 8-0 in corners. Game 2, Man City 20-5 in shot attempts, 68% possession, 9-2 in corners. Total corners, of course, is an incomplete stat, but there was simply no denying the Reds. They were compact, gritty, and scored on 5 of 14 shots. That's bonkers, and it's why we watch the games. Momentous loss. Manchester City losing this tie at all would have altered the discussion on their legacy, but losing it 5-1 to drop 3 in a row in all competitions is brutal and raises legitimate questions about the legacy of this season. Yes, they'll still win the Premier League in dominant fashion, but Pep Guardiola's men went from arguably conducting the finest season in the history of English top-flight soccer to being unquestionably behind Arsenal's Invincibles while losing 3 times to one English club and failing in a bid to clinch the title against their crosstown rivals in historic fashion. Yeah, not good. There's still no question that Man City's style of play and Guardiola's success in utilizing it to build a champion with it is terrific, but could they win the quadruple? Became a double with the weakest jewel of the quartet included in the spoils. It's crazy to type this considering there's still a deserved coronation for one of the best Premier League seasons in history, but maybe next year? Different tourney, but Salah makes his point case. His goal early in the second half was one of the easier ones he'll bag this season, but the red-hot Red continues to make a case to be Premier League Player of the Year, even if the UEFA Champions League shouldn't really count for voters. Aided by Fernandinho's surprising decision not to get up after hitting the deck in his own box, Salah followed the ball and bagged his 39th goal of the season in the win. 50 Mohamed Salah has been directly involved in 50 goals in all competitions this season, 39 goals, 11 assists, 11 more than any other Premier League player. Relentless. Pic.twitter.com/Gedirkbana, Optajo, @Optajo, April 10, 2018. Everybody parks the bus sometime. Heads whipped up to the clock. It read just over 2 minutes, and Manchester City's Gabriel Jesus had just shaped a shot around displayed Lloris Karius to make the tie's scoreline read 3-1 on aggregate. Liverpool then packed it in for the rest of the half. This was going to be headline image after 45 minutes of play, before we learned Pep Guardiola had been sent to the stands for arguing a ref and before Jurgen Klopp flipped his game plan on its ear. AP photo, Rui Vieira. From the moment Gabriel Jesus gave Man City its second-minute lead, Klopp's Reds were penned into their own half. There was a sense that City needed a second goal before half-time, where Klopp could change his battle stations. And whether by design or instinct, the Reds were able to better high-press the ball at the start of the second half. We won't know how long the tactic would have lasted thanks to the Mohamed Salah goal that changed everything. No one wants to see Antonio Mateuelaho's referee again anytime soon. It's a sad thing to be talking about the referee after a match of this magnitude, and the good news is he was pretty much universally awful for both sides. Antonio Mateuelaho's handed out 5 yellow cards in the first half. Depending on your vantage point, he missed a foul on Raheem Sterling in the build-up to Man City's opener, and then looked to have gotten an offside call wrong that would have led to a second City goal. Even though those were cancelled out, Lahoz wasn't done. He sent Guardiola to the stands for the second half and missed a potential Liverpool penalty moments before Mohamed Salah scored. Again, it wouldn't have changed anything about the outcome. Follow at Nicolas Mendela.